welcome to the Who, What, Where show. I'm Azz Mohammed.
I'm Stevie Nicks.
So the Who, What, Where show.
Who are we talking about? What have they achieved? And where are they going in the future?
So, who are we talking about?
One of our own, Sheffield's England international, Kyle Walker.
So, let's rewind and go right back to his roots, where you went to his house, didn't you?
I did. I went to his flats, which were amazing, met the community, met a lot of people. And you know what? You are going to be surprised by his journey. You're going to be surprised by where he's come from and how he got to where he is now. Have a look. "206 Mount Street, Lansdowne Estate in Sheffield. Now, it just looks like any other brown door to me, but it's not though. England footballer Kyle Walker was brought up in this property. Now, I've got to tell you now, it's a very humble beginning compared to where he is now. The one thing that I will say though, there's a lot of community spirit that's still around here. The neighbours upstairs, what they were doing a minute ago, they were shouting across, asking somebody to borrow sugar. Now, I don't know my neighbours, and there's 200 people on my street, I don't know their name, because that's not the way society is these days. So I can imagine back then, it must have been amazing. The parents must have looked after the children while they were playing on the grass in front of us, over the balconies, making sure they were alright, because it's still here now, the community spirit. But to go from this estate, and this level of poverty in a way, to play for your country is unbelievable. How did he do it? How did he get there? Who helped him? What kind of things did he have to go through? What kind of things did he have to give up along the way? You're going to find out next.
Well, way before his footballing career began, as Kyle was growing up, he went to this school just behind me, the High Stores Secondary School. And as it says just there, designed for success. Well, I guess they're not wrong there, are they?
So you went to the school, what was that like?
It was a lot different to where you were. It was a very affluent area.
It was definitely not an affluent area where I was, but the one thing that he did have was the community spirit. Now, like I did say in the videotape there, the one thing that I will say is that the community seemed to stick together. I was lucky enough, fortunate enough, to be shown around by Scott Green, who was one of Kyle's best friends growing up. Now, he showed me the places they used to play football. He showed me the places that they used to play just on the grass, and how the mums used to look over the balcony and protect each person. And there'd be never no trouble, no danger, no nothing at all. It was a fantastic place to live back then.
It certainly was. So, next, who are we going to? We've got a man called Paul Archer, right?
Paul Archer was the man that actually found Kyle Walker. He was a Sheffield United football coach, and he went to an organisation called Football Unites Racism Divides, which you'll hear about later on in the programme. Now, Paul Archer is a special man. He's got time for children, and people learn off him in a special way. Have a look.
Well, effectively, I've been coaching with Sheffield United for about 3 or 4 years, and we got involved in a community programme with Football Unites Racism Divides.
Okay, what's that? What's Football Unites Racism Divides?
It was really a programme that was helping ethnic minority children get involved in sport, and in this case football, and trying to get them channels in order to get into the professional game or to professional clubs, because we found that was a place that we weren't actually getting any players from. So we went out and tried to do that.
And how did Kyle Walker come about then? How did you spot this marvellous right back?
Well, he came to our first session and he decided to come along with his cousin, basically. And he was a young lad, age 7, loved playing football. You could tell he had that enthusiasm about it. He really liked what he did. And we'd do a few skills with him, a bit of coaching with him. The following week he'd come back and he'd mastered it. He says, oh, look, just show me what he was doing. Look, this is what I can do, this is what I can do. And I've done this as well. And he was so enthusiastic and he really wanted to get on and do well.
What was it that won you over? Did he tackle you?
Oh yeah, he'd try and do that, definitely, without a doubt.
What was his first reaction when you told him, you know what, you might be good enough and let's get you into Sheffield United's academy? Surely that reaction you must have captured.
Oh yeah, big beaming smile on his face. Oh, absolutely beaming smile on his face. And you know, he was really looking forward to it. And like I said, every week he'd come back with a smile. Look, I've done this, I've done that. And when I told him that he's going to get, a trial at Sheffield United, he was absolutely delighted. He's up on the records for athletics, long jump, sprinter. Wow. He's got the records at the school. I think he went to High Stores.
Yeah.
So right. He's got the records for those, and we didn't actually know that. Yeah. But it just shows how good an athlete he was. Even though he wasn't a very big lad, he obviously had some talent there
Well, when you're watching it, it's rapid anyway. You know, if you put the ball over the top, he's gone. Like, you know, to be fair, yeah, he's a fantastic player.
You can't catch him, can you? Imagine him trying to chase him.
Struggling, that's all I know. I bet there's some stories down pub for you and your mates. I bet you're chewing their ear off on a regular basis, aren't you?
That story will always come in.
His mates today and every night.
Yeah, that story will always come in, that one.
Yeah, his mates saying, yeah, that's why I've got half an ear left. Did you ever told him that you're proud of him, or have you ever told him anything like that? Or?
Yeah, I've messaged him and said, you know, well done whenever he's playing, and when he got his first England cap and all that kind of stuff.
I did this.
That's going to be his hashtag. You know?
That's going to be his hashtag. All because of me.
Just finally, when you do read those notes and, you know, articles in the paper and your name comes up, how does that make you feel?
Oh, it's a great feeling. Oh, yeah, great feeling inside, I tell you.
Does
really.
it take you back down memory lane?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you always, you know, when I first saw him and sort of thought, you know, hey, he's all right, he is. Not bad at all. He might go far.
I bet it's I bet when you remember it, it's like yesterday, isn't it, for you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, it's brilliant. No, he's done really well, and like I said, every time his name's mentioned or I watch him on TV or whatever, it does have it's a nice feeling to it.
Do you like to follow him? Do you follow his journey?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, without a doubt. No doubts about that.
Amazing. Well, Kyle, look, you need to get in touch more often, lad. Come on, mate.
There needs to be a few more phone calls. Yeah, you know what I mean? So, you know, without this guy, like, where would you be? You never know where you could possibly be.
Love that. You think he'll use that hashtag? I wonder.
I think he'd definitely be using that hashtag, especially down the pub with his mates. He definitely loves the fact that he found Kyle Walker.
It certainly does. And now we're going to move on to something. We're going to go now down to where Kyle actually played and actually trained and became the man he is, really.
Well, we used to always have run coaching sessions, right? And before we had a place like this, which was for most of our existence actually, we used to have to do it in various sort of parks, and Lowfield Park, Mount Pleasant Park, but also we did some up at Aberdale Grange School. And this particular day, it was a Saturday morning, Kyle was only 7 at the time, and really it was his older mates that were going to the coaching, so he wasn't included, right? One of them had a car. Somebody dropped out on the day, so they said to him, come on, Kyle, you can come with us. So he went up there. I was there, actually. And everyone was bigger than him, because he was, like, really tiny. You've seen the pictures of Kyle, right, when he was, like, 7, 8, 9. He's like, you can't believe what he's grown up into. He was, like, Maradona size. Do you know what I mean? And but what he did was, he ran around everywhere. He was all over the place, right, just running and running and running.
I just want to rewind it back just a little bit, just to your organisation itself, Football Unites Racism Divide. Now, what was it originally set up for? Was it what kind of culture of person was it set up for?
Well, it's meant to be an inclusive project, a project that treated and gave opportunities to any football fan or player or referee or someone who just wanted to get involved and go to a match, right? And in those days, I'm talking about 1995, it was quite a different sort of setup as it.
You mentioned earlier on something about racism. And
yeah, there was a lot of stuff going on in the area. You know, there was racist graffiti on boards. There was the local population, which was sort of 50% from an ethnic minority background, was experiencing a lot of match day harassment. There was stuff around on London Road. A lot of people stood outside pubs. A lot more common than it is nowadays. Although there's been it started again actually whilst this season, and that led to people of Somali and Asian origin getting abused and attacked. In some cases, one Somali lad ended up in hospital in one of the chicken sort of takeaways on a life support machine and so on. So it was serious stuff, you know, going on.
Do you feel like you've changed Kyle Walker's life?
Yeah, in a bit, yes. I feel like he got his own family. I suppose, by any means, looking into the future without any sort of worries, stuff like that, same as us. You know, it's great.
We all thought that Eamon was the best prospect, didn't we?
Yeah.
You know, but he didn't grow in the same way that the other two Kyles, especially Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker just suddenly shot up. There was one year where he was like, you know, not much bigger than you.
Yeah,
and then a few, you know,
And then
So him again a year later,
then
he'd put on
develop.
about 5 or
Yeah.
6 inches.
How old are you now?
I'm 75.
And how long have you been coaching for?
For the past 25 years nearly now.
Wow, that is absolutely unbelievable.
Lewis used to play internationally for Chile.
Oh, did you?
When I was younger.
This is a question to both of you. I mean, you have some great talents that come through. Kyle Walker for one, Eamon Tahar, many others that have gone elsewhere. I'm sure you get like attached to these players, and then when you see them go, it must be sad because they're no longer with you, right?
In a way, yes, but in the other way, you got to look into the way I look now is I change somebody's life, and that's good enough for me.
Wow, such an unbelievable place, and it was set up for immigrants.
It's just crazy. Honestly, it is absolutely crazy place. Football Unites Racism Divide is amazing as an organisation. Howard Holmes literally put his everything into that group to help people. And then there's the Chilean coach, Louis. He was a Chilean international, you know. He's 75 years old, can you believe that? And he's still coaching now. He wants to change people's lives and he's doing it. What an amazing guy.
The best bit in all of that was this. He just kind of turned up into that interview and it's just perfect for us, to be quite honest, wasn't it?
He put it on our toes, if I'm being honest. We weren't ready for him. And literally, we sat there and he just turns up. Oh, yeah. All right, then. Oh, you want to sit down? You want to sit down? Come on, then. Oh, this is Louis. This is the coach. Oh, brilliant. But what he had to say was inspirational. And if he's changing people's lives, I want more people like him around me.
I certainly do. So, OK, Stevie, who's next? Who we got next on this show now?
Now we go to one of Kyle's friends, Joe Perkis is called. Now, he's known Kyle a long time. Now, one thing about him, he's honest about Kyle and he speaks to him about in detail and in length. And so you see the other side of Kyle here. You see the personality side and what kind of person he is away from football. This is a really good interview, actually, and the setting's amazing. The Full Monty was filmed there, actually.
Yeah, where was it exactly?
The Bolden Hills, I think it's called, in Crooks. It's absolutely beautiful. When I was there, literally, I didn't want to leave in the end, to be honest. My missus were calling me to get home for tea, but I wasn't having it. I was still staying there for ages, just Snapchatting how beautiful the view is. It's amazing, a beautiful place.
Absolutely amazing. Well, take a look at this. This is when Stevie spoke to him.
So we're here now with Joe Perkis, one of Kyle Walker's best friends. Has he changed as a person?
No, not all, to be honest. He's still the same guy. He's still childish. He still has a laugh. He's still brilliant with all his mates and his family and everyone.
Childish? In what way? What does he do?
Tell
me some of his banter. Bring it out. Drop it.
I can't really probably say, really. He's just incredibly childish. He's still fun in games like we were when we were 17, 18, you know. Yeah. He's had to change in ways with, obviously, his career, how it's taken him and the media surrounding him. Unfortunately, like, we have to be childish indoors now. We can't really be childish outside because you never know who's taking
Do you see a big difference with regards to people coming up to him and mobbing him and actually wanting a picture and autographs with him from years ago?
Yeah, definitely. To be fair, before the Euros, I always say we went on holiday and we went to a water park and we had 2 or 3 photos with people. It was fine, do you know what I mean? We got around the water park fine, and then after the Euros, we were in Barcelona and went to the water park. And literally we had probably a crowd of about 100 kids following him, and we actually had to leave the water park because we couldn't even go on any rides because he was just getting mobbed by all the kids in Spain telling him to sign for Real Madrid and Barcelona.
Now, as you two, obviously, you're very, very close. You're a Sheffield Wednesday fan, he's a Sheffield United fan. Recently they played each other. What was the banter? There must have been some sort of banter between you both.
Oh, well, yeah, it was up and downs. He was FaceTiming me every time Sheffield United scored. So I was FaceTiming him back when Wednesday went 2-2. And then next minute he's on FaceTime with Aguero telling him to try and sing.
Sergio Aguero,
yeah,
the legend himself.
Yeah, I
and
know,
what was he doing?
Carl was trying to get him on the Sheffield United bandwagon.
Is he on it? Is he on it?
Nah. I don't think you knew who both they were, but Carl was trying to get him to be a Sheffield United fan and sing Sheffield United fan songs down FaceTime at me.
That's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. I'm saying that Sergio Aguero is a Sheffield United fan because I am. Anyway, so I'm having that. I'm having that, and I'm sure all our fans will do with that as well. With regards to the future for Kyle, what do you expect him to do? Do you think he'll go on and win trophies throughout his career? And have you put any things in place for him? Do you have any challenges for him?
Yeah, to be fair, like his friends, we've set him targets. Obviously, he won Young Player of the Year when he was younger. He's got in Team of the Year last year for the PFA. But now it's time to win titles with Man City, and we've personally set him the target as being in the Team of the Year, FIFA Team of the Year. So with Man City being in the Champions League now, he's at the right stage to do it, and he's got the ability to do it.
Aguero, really?
One of the best footballers in the world. I am definitely taking that. He is definitely a Sheffield United fan. He's definitely a Blade.
There's only one problem, though.
What's that?
He's a blue.
He could take that shirt off, can't he? Don't you worry about that.
Right, okay. Speaking of footballers, take a look at this. We've got some footballers who talk about Kyle Walker himself.
For Kyle, what he's had to do, you know, I think a lot is talked about coaches and family and influences, but the biggest influence is what the boy and he has in his heart and his head and his desire to achieve and move forward and you know, to ally, you know, fantastic talent, great athletic ability, but a desire to be the best in his profession. You know, I know all these guys personally. I know the family. I know his dad from a long time ago. So you know, these opportunities for anybody are there, and that pathway always needs to be kept open. You know, you get players that play in our first team come from all different pots and areas. So there's you know, from our point of view, they've obviously got to have the right attributes, qualities to get into the first team. But for wherever they come from, there's absolutely no issue, and that shouldn't be from any of the football clubs. Just make sure you don't forget about Sheffield United, and at the end of his career comes back and plays for us.
He's been great for his club, a great asset to Spurs, and I'm sure Man City, like they've started this season, they'll go on to do great things, especially with Kyle in the side.
He's come on a lot. He's a fantastic footballer, and very proud of him to be part of his career. Played with him. He was a young kid playing up front, right wing, right back. He could play anywhere. He's turned into a real athlete and a top fullback in the world now. When he's had the chance to progress, I remember we was in Malta on pre-season. Him and Kyle Norton was saying, "Oh, we're going to Spurs," and I was like, "Wow, that's amazing." And they've both progressed since then, and Kyle's gone on to play for England, and he's now at Manchester City, one of the biggest clubs in the world. So he's doing very well for himself, and I'm pleased for him. Keep doing what you're doing, mate. You're making all your family and friends proud, and we look at it as though you're doing it for Sheffield. So keep playing for Manchester City in England, and enjoy yourself. Well done.
So, from an adventure playground in Sheffield,
All the way down to London,
and then to this beautiful site.
if you say so.
He wouldn't say that, he's a Man United fan.
No, but on a serious note, Kyle Walker has achieved so much in his career so far till date, and coming back up north to Manchester, unfortunately for me, it is at Manchester City.
Some great footballers there and some great comments, to be honest.
Yep, certainly was. Well, there's only one thing left, isn't there?
What's that?
A cup of tea. I'm joking. This is, after the break, you're going to see Kyle Walker himself speaking to us. Welcome back to the Who What Where show.
Now, there's only one thing left, isn't there? Like we promised, the man himself, Kyle Walker.
I grew up on a council estate, the Lansdowne estate, and it was just about, you know, going out having fun, really. You know, it wasn't the riches of estates around Sheffield, so it's about, you know, finding entertainment for yourself, and most of that entertainment was football.
What were the kind of cultures that lived on the estate at the time?
No, you had people from, you know, all kind of, you know, different backgrounds and everything, and I think that's what brought the estate together.
Right.
Where, you know, people would just get along, no matter if it was black, white or whatever. You know, we all got along, and when you all play football as well, you'll speak, you know, football, so it's kind of, that was the main language rather than English.
Yeah. So it just kept everybody together, and everyone sort of got on through football from there. I'll tell you a story, actually. You were on a Mount Street, is that right, yeah?
Exactly, yeah.
So I went to your house the other day, your house, so I was filming outside. Have I told you this? Yeah. So I was filming outside your door the other day. I've got the camera, I've got the tripod, I've got everything there. Anyway, a group of Somalian kids come up, so they're like, "Yo, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm just filming." And they said, "What are you filming here for? It's only a door." And I went, "Yeah." I went, "Well, Kyle Walker lived here." And he went, "What?" Anyway, next thing I know, he goes, "Yo, boys, All these lads come upstairs, about 15 of them, yeah? And then they're going, my man's trying to tell me, yeah, that Kyle Walker lives there. Guy goes, one of them goes, he plays for Man City and he lives there. It's literally, and I went, no, he lived there. And they went, really, there? Yeah. And they went, he's a legend. I went, we're going to be interviewing him. He went, tell him he's a legend. So on that estate, they think you're absolutely
I was more surprised at him actually going there and surviving.
Yeah, surviving the trip. Yeah, he'd done well. He'd done well, so hats off to that.
He was a good place.
But when it came to playing football or just hanging out, where was it at the time when you were in younger days?
There was a couple of places, like it was quite a big estate. There was my block, another block, and behind this block here, there was like a park, 2 walls. There was like, one was here, one net was here, one net was here, so he was playing on a diagonal. One was higher, one was smaller. So we started playing on there for a little bit, and then the older people started getting a bit frustrated that some windows were getting broken and stuff like that. So I think
was that you?
Nah.
Learning free kicks, yeah. Is that why you're so good at free kicks now? From the windows?
Yeah, so they got a little bit annoyed and they banged the climbing frame right in the middle of it. Okay. But it didn't stop us playing football. We used to play around the climbing frame and everything like that. 1-2s off of the climbing frame, which it learnt you how to play, which it was good. And then on a Saturday, my mum used to drop me off at Highfield Adventure Playground. Yeah. I used to go there from, say 9 in the morning till 6 at night. And that was me for the day. Got me out my mum's hair.
She said, like, when you were younger, you were so hyperactive that up until the age of 3, you never slept for the full night. You were literally up all the time, and she didn't have a sleepless night. She didn't have a full night's sleep, until you were 3-year-old.
She does tell me that. She said that she used to put me in the pram and walk me around the estate.
That's what she said.
Says, flipping hell, Mum, you was brave around there to walk me around. But I think, listen, no disrespect to the estate, it was great, it's taught me all I know, and I think once you got to know, people knew your face around there, they kind of knew that you was from there and kind of left you alone.
Well, she said that she always felt safe because the reason why is because she knew the other parents and the other children, and they would always look out for you. So if you were on the other side of the estate, then they would be looking after you.
100%. Like there was, me on one block. I don't think actually no one was on the same block. Yeah. So you always used to see the parents poking their head out the window, coming off onto the balcony, and shouting you if the ice cream man was here or or it was tea time. Yeah.
Is it true that you loved the chippy back in those days?
I still do now, yeah. It's my guilty pleasure. I do like the chippy with scraps. Fish and chips scraps.
Chip butty?
Yeah. Chip butty, just whatever. Scraps. But I only have it in Sheffield.
Have you ever been to the stage, because I know I have as a kid, have you ever been to a stage where you're struggling and your mum and dad haven't got much money and then you go and ask for a bag of scraps?
Yeah, it was 5p for a bag of scraps. So whoever had a spare 5p used to just take the bag of scraps, and that was you sort of...
Douse it in vinegar and put some ketchup on it.
That's just salt and vinegar.
How much is it now, tenner?
God knows, it probably is. Hey.
When you're in Manchester, you don't have any of that stuff, no?
No, I've just employed someone that cooks for me and stuff. I think now, especially football, how it's developing and stuff, you need to be, physically, mentally prepared for everything. So if I not sacrifice, but invest into my career a little bit, then hopefully I can get a few more years out of football, really.
How did it come about in the first place then? So you're playing obviously at the back, you're doing all that. How did it come about that you actually become a footballer? Where did it start? What was the beginning?
Yeah, so I went up to Abbeydale Grange and just playing in the park there and on Football United's race divides, and that was it. Paul Archer came up to me, he said, can I have your mum's number? I was thinking, who's this guy?
Steady.
Who's this guy? I'm 7 years old thinking, right. But I think in that day and age you didn't really think about it as much. I was only 7, so I gave him my mum's telephone number, and they called my mum and said, he would like to invite me to come to Sheffield United and have a trial, and I've never really looked back since.
Did you know anything about Football United's racism divide when you went there?
No, not at all. It was by off chance. As I say, there was no space in the car, and luckily his sister didn't come, so I had the chance to go there. So I have to say thanks to his sister really for not turning up and wanting to watch football. Yeah.
Any point did you think a little bit of doubt in your mind before going at that time? Did you think?
No, I think football at them ages, it's easy. You're a kid, you're enjoying, you're just playing football. I think when you get to like 15, 16, then you start thinking about things and doubting yourself. Am I good enough?
Yeah.
You know, am I growing? Am I developing as quick as the other players are? So I didn't really think much, but I just enjoyed playing football. Yeah. And whenever I could play football, I did play football.
Do you ever go back there? Do you ever see, I mean, Hakeem and Ismail from Sharrow?
Yeah.
Do you ever see them? Do you ever go back?
No, I follow them on Instagram, but where I've been in London and then come up to Manchester, it's such a busy schedule. You know, when I come, you know, back to Sheffield, I visit my mum, see my nan and granddad, my aunties, my sisters, and then it's kind of right, by the time you've done the rounds on everyone, you've got to head off back down. So it's difficult, you know, we still keep in touch on Instagram and stuff like that, but that's probably as far as it gets.
Yeah. And then obviously you got the opportunity, you went to Sheffield United. How was that when you first went there?
Looking back at it now, I probably didn't realise what I've got myself into.
Yeah.
I never played Sunday League football, so that was my first club football that I played. Sheffield United back then was actually a school of excellence, so it wasn't an academy. So we used to play, you know, teams like Tranmere, Borough, Bradford, rather than what they're playing now at this day and age, you know, your Liverpools, Manchester Uniteds, Man Cities and stuff like that. Yeah. So it was literally just a kickabout for me, you know, where my dad used to take me. I used to have the kit on, he said Sheffield United School of Excellence, and we used to just go and play football.
They couldn't sign you, could they, for the first year? Is that
no,
right?
No, they couldn't because I was too young.
What did you used to keep you there by giving you tracksuits and kits and stuff like that then? And
not even. Football's changed now. Yeah. You know, back then it wasn't about that. You know, you weren't bothered about the free boots that you get. What kids are so bothered about now, the free clothes or anything like that. It was literally going, and it was probably playing football with people my age that was at the same standard as me. So it was just good. It was.
Did you notice much difference from the standard from Football United's Racism Divide where you went and Sheffield United? Was there much difference between the two? Like you say, you were a young boy, and at that age, you know, everyone just loves it and it's fun.
Yeah, not at all. I mean, I believe 100% some of the kids that was on the flats when I was growing up could have definitely made it if they was given the opportunity. Yeah. But you know, you need to have a little bit of luck in this game as well. Yeah. And I believe I just got the luck.
Do you think it is the right place at the right time?
Yeah, 100%.
Speaking of that, how did you fit in then when you went for the first time into Sheffield United? How did everyone else see you? Because you came from Football United Racism Divide.
I wouldn't really know.
Was it scary going into that?
No, because you know, I was a centre forward, but I was pretty decent at that age, so it was like give.
Did you already know you were good anyway?
No, because at the age of 13, 14, I stopped, you know, developing a little bit. No, actually, probably being older than that, probably been about 15, 16. I stopped and everyone just carried on going.
Yeah, we heard that at one point they said to you that you weren't going to make it as a professional.
No, they wasn't going to give me a scholarship.
And one of the academy directors down there, well, not academy, development at the time said to you that, you know, you're too small.
Yeah, too small. And my dad, I can remember having a conversation with my dad and he's saying to me, you know, we might have to take you to Chesterfield or Scunthorpe or something like this because I don't feel that you're going to get in. And that's the time where I had to sit back and kind of think, I need to make sacrifices in my lifestyle and what I'm doing now to get to where I want to be.
And what did you do? What sacrifices did you make?
Not so much stop hanging around with my friends, but stop doing what my friends were doing. You know, if they're running around the streets at 10, 11 o'clock and I've got a game the next day, I can't be doing that. Yeah. And, you know, my big thing was, you know, God bless them, you know, me and my mum didn't have much. Yeah. And my main objective was to get me and my mum off them flats.
How did they take that though, your friends? Did they understand when you told them, look, I can't do this anymore? It's got to change.
It's got to be a fine balance because you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket kind of thing. I didn't want to just say, okay, football's, that's it. And I'm just going to forget about my friends because your friends are always there to pick you up when you're having down moments. Yeah. So it was kind of a fine balance, but it was just sacrificing. Just certain things. It wasn't loads of things, it was just certain things that I had to do that makes me want to improve more in the game.
Yeah, one of the things that your mum said was a touching thing. She said that you didn't have much, but then every month when she got paid, she used to take you to either Leeds or somewhere and you'd either go and buy some trainers and she'd take you out for something to eat, like a restaurant or something to eat. And that was a way of giving, showing you something back.
Every payday.
Throughout the month you couldn't have much because she didn't have much, like she said, but that was a special time to give you something back and just show you that she loves you.
Did you look forward to that day?
Yeah, it was good because I've got a trainer obsession. So whenever payday was coming, I knew I'd get a pair of trainers or, you know, go out to the cinema and have a bit of food. We used to go to Leeds sometimes.
She said you were a nightmare with your trainers. She's over there. That's why I'm looking in that. She said you got OCD with your trainers.
Yeah. So we used to go to Leeds and get some trainers. And then when it got older, it was a pair of boots. But I remember, I'll never forget, she bought me some Nike boots and they were too big. You know, because Mum's saying, "Oh, you'll grow into them." But I'm
always, yeah.
I'm a size 5 in some trainers and I'm a 7 in boots. So I've got small feet. She must have bought me a 7 when I was about 14. And it's like, "No, you'll grow into them. You'll grow into." And I didn't wear them. I couldn't wear them because they was too big for me. But I really liked the boots. So she was like, "Put 2 pairs of socks on." You know. But it's things in life like that you appreciate now. You know, when listen, I've got a night deal. I'm very fortunate, and I get boots given to me left, right, and centre. So it makes you, but it makes you appreciate it. Yeah. You know.
Do you still have those old trainers of yours? Do you still keep them, or have they gone?
I've got one pair that I keep. I think my mum's got a few at home, but I still keep every pair of boots that I've ever wore. Yeah. In a game, I have keep one pair. Every single pair they give me, I keep one pair. Yeah.
What about those size 7s?
Them 7s are gone. God knows where they are.
So then your next progression obviously was Sheffield United. You started to go through the ranks. They did give you a apprentice, was it apprentice?
Yeah.
They gave you apprenticeship at the time. How was that then? What happened then after that? What was the next stages that went on in your career?
Well, I was a centre forward. So I signed my scholarship as a centre forward. And we had some really good forwards and I just couldn't get a game. I think I started my first game around December time, so it's a long time to wait through pre-season and then all the way, and I couldn't start. And then we played Nottingham Forest away, and one of the lads that was playing right back, he's from Sheffield, Elijah Reid, he was injured. So they said, Sam Safe said to me, "Do you want to play right back?" And I said, "Well, I'm going to get a game." So I was like, "Yeah, of course I will." And then from then I've never looked back.
Big change though, strike to right back.
Well, I was small and I had a bit of pace, you know, so I and when you're playing on the flats, day in, day out,
yeah, of course,
you're playing Wembley, aren't you?
You did that from Sheffield United and then you made your debut.
Yeah.
That was an exciting time for you, because did you ever think that you would be able to do that from a young lad? Did you ever think I'll be playing first team for this club?
No, well, I lived so close to the ground, so I could never see it. And I supported them as a kid, and I could never see me.
Your granddad bought you a season ticket at 5?
5, yeah. I can remember police officers running everywhere, and me and my granddad are just hugging in this Gennell, trying to get away from it.
Did that not make you think I don't want to come back to football again?
No, because I felt safe with him. Yeah. You know, he was the one who got me into football, you know, mainly him, so I took my hat off to him. You know, I still think about him every day. But the thing is that when you're growing up, you don't think about all that, do you? No. You kind of just football. Yeah.
So then the progression was good from there. You obviously started doing really well at Sheffield United, and then you played in the playoffs. That was and that was like your first starts, really, wasn't it, for Sheffield United?
Well, my first start was, my mum will probably know, Leyton Orient, down at Orient. Yeah. And the game actually got called off on the first day, so we had to stay down in London and play it the next day. And luckily enough, my mum and dad was on the way down to Leyton Orient, and I think my dad had a blowout. Yeah, he had a blowout in the car on his tyre burst. So there was no way he was getting down to that game if it was meant to be played on the actual day it was. Yeah. But I think it was just fate that it got cancelled, and my mum and dad came to see, and I think we won there as well. Yeah, so played well. Yeah.
And then all through that period, you had some amazing performances, and then you played Burnley. You got to the playoff final, and then there was Burnley at Wembley. How was that? As not just a Sheffield United fan, a Sheffield United player, that must have been unbelievable.
Yeah, well, what would we play? We played Swansea at home, Crystal Palace, Preston, and then Burnley. That was my 5th game. And I was saying to Kyle Norton, because he was, you know, doing really well that season, saying to him, I'm so nervous. And he was saying, Kyle, stop it, because you're making me nervous now. So I remember going out, and it's a hot day. Obviously the playoff finals are always, you know, sunny, and they've got the lights going up and the fire and everything, and my legs went to jelly, and it took me about 5-10 minutes to kind of get into the game and get it going. But it wasn't meant to be. And if probably Sheffield United got promoted, would I be sat here now with you playing for Man City? I don't know. Because they didn't get promoted. I went on to Tottenham, then came back on loan. But I feel like just as that blowout when my dad had the tyre, I think everything's done for a reason. Yeah.
Then you had the amazing situation where you get a phone call from Tottenham. How did that come about?
Well, your agent would have contacted you, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, my agents.
Were they in touch in advance? Did you know that they were in for you though?
Yeah, I mean it was Everton and Tottenham, but I was kind of the little like side dish, spicy rice. yeah. With Carl Norton because.
Did you always see Carl Norton as
the one that would go on?
Yeah, well, he's a top player, isn't he? You know, and he proved it game in, game out in the Championship, and I just tried to mould my game on him, you know, developing and watching him, knowing that he's come through what I've come through. So I want to just copy you, really. So they want. I know deep down, my agent tells me, no, it was both of you they wanted, and I know deep down that Norts was the one that they wanted. And they got me on the little side one. So obviously I signed for Tottenham, went down to Devon, seen them in the pre-season training camp and everything, and Harry Redknapp was very welcoming. You know, and he showed me the affection that I wanted, and I thought, well, okay, I want to play for you. So that was it. Went back up and, you know, I said to Norts that I think I'm going to go there. He says, yeah, I'm coming as well. So that was the end of it.
That must be reassurance, that, like, because you have that little bit of fear, don't you, when you know your friend's coming along as well.
Yeah. It's tough, but I knew that I was going back on loan. Yeah. So I was kind of a win-win situation. I thought, oh, I've just signed for a Premier League club, but I'm going back to, you know, my boyhood club that I want to play for. Because I needed to learn. I only played 5 games, as I said before, and I needed to learn the game. Yeah.
When you went back to Sheffield United on loan, how did the rest of the players see you then at that point? Because they'll have known back in their mind.
Yeah, I think just the same.
Well, obviously you've gone from a stage like financially, you know, you're on a certain amount of money at Sheffield United, then all of a sudden you get this contract at Tottenham. Now I can't imagine what it must have been like, you in that board meeting, signing for Tottenham, getting your signing on fee, going to the bank, putting your credit card details in,
and it's saying card declined.
And then all of a sudden you're seeing a number there that looks like a calculator. You must have been like at first, wow. But obviously some players will be like, right, that's it, I'm spending it, I'm buying this, I'm buying that, I'm going on. Because you're going from nothing to all of a sudden having something which you've never even dreamed of having, like financially. It must have been so different for you.
How did you deal with that situation?
Just stayed the same. You know, ask my mates now. I'm still the same. Listen, if I need something, then I'll get it. If I don't need it, I don't.
So you're careful with your money?
Yeah, I think you just need to... I've got kids now, so I'm playing football for myself mainly, and you know, 'cause I love the game, but I'm also doing it for their future. You know, and for my mum and dad, and just to help everyone out, really.
Playing for Tottenham, that must have been a real experience, right? What was the difference between playing at Sheffield United and then playing in Tottenham, in that stadium?
It's different emotions. Obviously playing for Sheffield United, I grew up supporting them. You know, I've always wanted to play for them, so that was really deep. Tottenham, it was deep because I thought, okay, I need to do well, I need to impress, because I want to, you know, I want to play for this club for a while now. But now, you know, I look at Tottenham and, you know, that was kind of like home because I've been there for so long and I've got so many good memories there. It was tough to leave there, and I've said it before in interviews. It was tough, but to work with the manager that City have got, you know, it was only going to benefit my game.
A few years ago, Sheffield United and Tottenham drew each other in the Carling Cup semi-final, I think it was. How was that for you? That must have you must have had split allegiance at the time. You must, well, obviously when they played each other. So
it was difficult, but I don't know if you know this, but when I signed for Villa, my first game was against Sheffield United, and I scored. Yeah. So I thought, well, it can't get any worse than that.
What's it like when you change management?
I remember when AVB left, and that was a really sad moment. I think probably one of the saddest moments I've had in football, watching someone that I got on really well. He was such a good person, you know, deep down, like he had a really warm heart. All the lads got along with him.
Did you know though when he was going to go? Did he come in? Did he say anything to you?
Well, obviously he come in and said, "Listen, my time's up now."
How did the boys take that?
No, it's heartbreaking because you go into a place, you see someone every day, and then all of a sudden you're not going to see him.
Yeah.
You know, as footballers, we see our teammates and stuff more than we see probably our families. You know, so when people go, it's even when people leave clubs and stuff, it's hard to take. You know, you try and keep in touch and stuff like that. It's not the same with seeing him in person, you know, day in, day out.
What's he like, Pep?
No, he's a really nice guy. Very enthusiastic, very passionate, and he doesn't take sloppiness. But I think with the level of players that's there, it's good and it's a motivation for us all that we've got to keep going, and we all want to impress him, which is also good.
Yeah, so. What you like time-wise as well?
Just for the record, he came here late.
So what do you see yourself in the future? Where do you see yourself going, and what are your aims and goals in life?
Just to win things. You know, I've not really won much as a team. You know, I got promoted with QPR and got a medal for that. I've got a few runners-up medals with Tottenham, but you know, I want to go out and win stuff now. At the end of my career, I'd love to come back to Sheffield United and play there. I'd love to do that, but you never know. They might not want me. It might not be the right move. You know, I need to weigh that situation up. But now I'm just concentrating, you know, on this season, what I need to do for City, you know, to make us be up there.
Do you think you'll win the league this year?
I think it's going to be tough. We've got off to a great start. I can't lie and say that no, I don't think. But Manchester United are flying. Tottenham are doing really well, and other teams are going to pick up form as well. We're going to take a blip. We can't. I mean, please God, we've gone a fantastic run all season, but it's going to be very unlikely with the standard that's in the Premiership. So when we take that little blip, we need to pull together as lads, pick ourselves up, and you know, bounce back next week.
With regard, let's just go back a bit, because obviously we've throughout this journey we've been right back to the beginning of your being born, and you spoke to your mum and dad. Howard Holmes, Football Unites Racism Divides. We've also spoke to Paul Archer, and we've also, is it Louis, the Chilean coach? Yeah. How much, especially for these two people, because I think they deserve special praise, Louis and Paul Archer, how much are they an influence on where you are now in your life, and how have they helped you progress to get to where you are?
Well, you know, I spoke to Paul last night and I said a big thank you to him, because if it wasn't for him, then I wouldn't be where I am now. I think it's not just them, it's all the coaches that I had from under 9s to under 16s that's believed in me and given me a contract to go up to the next age group at the end of the season. So there's countless people that I need to say thank you to.
From Sheffield, we want to thank you for doing what you're doing, and we're all following you, and we hope that you carry on, and especially from the communities and Football Unites Racism Divide and the people that you're giving hope to for the future.
No, thank you, and you know, a big thank you to everyone that's helped me, you know, throughout my career, from my family to people at Sheffield.
Coming to that, that's a good thing actually, saying that, right? Because I had a long talk with your mum the other day, and I do have to get this because this is quite a good thing, yeah. Obviously, in life, you've got a situation where you don't have an opportunity to tell somebody what you actually think. You know, you always like passing ships in the night. You're in Manchester. I know you speak to your mum on a regular basis, etc. But she wanted me to give you a message, okay? This is your life, by the way. She wanted to say to you, like, you're a pleasure to have as a son. I couldn't have picked anyone better, and I'm so proud of you. All the family are so proud of you. And I said to her, can she sum you up in 3 words? And she said, caring, loving, and thoughtful. And she says that when she texts you after every match day, she always tells you the same thing, that she loves you and that she's proud of you.
Every morning, without fail, she'll text me.
So I think not it's yourself, but as you know yourself, behind every successful person, there's people who have been there, and I think your mum deserves praise. Just come here, let's just come in shot. Come on, just come in for a second. Let just come here, just for 1 second. Come here. I think she definitely deserves some special praise. Definitely, but all your family. Who would you say? Who are the most important people that have been there for Kyle throughout his life? The ones that you think that need some praise, because this is all about Kyle and you as a family.
To be honest, his dad is one of a kind, isn't he? Your dad.
Special.
And especially when they were younger, the arguments they had after football, you should have done this, you shouldn't have done
Was
that.
it?
And his dad still now has to have a little dig done to
Does it? Does he still go into one?
But him and his dad speak after every game, and they put Will to rights then, don't you?
Yeah.
But yeah, his dad, his nan and granddad, everybody, his great granddad, everyone, even friends.
Yeah.
They're all really supportive of him. Everybody, in fact, I ever meet in Sheffield, it's always a good word.
Well, we want to thank you from Sheffield, from everybody who's watching this documentary, from everybody from Sheffield, because without you, your family, your unit, his friends, he wouldn't be where he is today. So thank you very much. So we want to thank you.
And he's doing it for England as well, which is amazing.
Definitely.
Thank you. I'll tell you something now, that was an amazing interview. I really enjoyed doing it because I really enjoyed going back to his roots, where he's come from, who's helped him along the way, and his mum, and his dad, Michael, who you didn't actually see on camera, but he's really been there for him. And without Tracy, his mum, and without his dad, Michael, he wouldn't be where he is today. All his family, all his friends, we would not be making this documentary. But Kyle himself, we want to thank him because he really has gone into himself, talked about himself, about what makes him, what inspires him, and where he goes, where he's going in the future. Great.
Certainly has. Okay, well, join us next week where we will be speaking to Craig David himself.
Who?
Craig David.
I'm not having that. Don't be dropping things like that on my toes. Craig David, rewind selector, that one.
Certainly.
I thought he disappeared.
Nope.
Is he back?
Yeah, he certainly is. And we're going to be speaking to him, plus many more, and you'll find out whether he filled us in. Join us at 8:30 on Friday. Take care.